Hello students, good morning to all. Welcome to online class. As you know very well, the situation is not good. That's why we can't conduct a regular class. That's why we started an online class. So in this video, I am going to discuss about basic knowledge about organic practicals. So as you know very well, you are in 5th semester. This semester you are having 3 practicals. One is organic qualitative analysis. Second one is gravimetric estimation, and third one is physical chemistry practicals. In your first year, second year, you had only 1 practicals, whereas in this semester you are going to do 1, 2, 3. So now my part is organic qualitative analysis. Before that, you must have the knowledge of functional groups. And what is meant by aliphatic, what is meant by aromatic, saturation, unsaturation, and derivative functional groups. This is the main aspect of doing practicals. So in the case of practicals, the first thing is that is functional group. First one is carboxylic acid. Second one is phenol. Third one is aldehyde. Fourth one is ketone. Fifth one is ester. And sixth one is carbohydrates. Carbohydrates. I repeat once again. There are nearly first 6 functional groups. First one is carboxylic acids. Second one is phenols. Third one is aldehyde. Fourth one is ketone. Fifth one is ester. And the last one is 6 carbohydrates. In which the main point you have to remember, what is that? All these 6 functional groups do not contain, that is without nitrogen. Without nitrogen. That is very, very important. All the 6 it does not contain nitrogen in its functional group. At the same time, the remaining 4 which contain with nitrogen, what are they? One is amine. 8th one is amide. 9th one is nitro compounds. And 10th one is acetanilide. ACETA, acetanilides. These 4 functional groups 7, 8, 9, 10 amine, amide, nitro compounds and acetanilides which contain nitrogen in its functional group. Now let us check one by one. In the case of carboxylic acids. Carboxylic acids. What do you mean by carboxylic acids? What is the functional group for that one? Carboxylic acids. Whose functional group is COOH. COOH is the functional group for carboxylic acids. Now in the case of carboxylic acids, as you have the knowledge about, it may be two things. One is the monocarboxylic acids or dicarboxylic acids. Monocarboxylic acids which contains only one COOH group, whereas in the case of dicarboxylic acid which contains COOH group in two times. Monocarboxylic acid and dicarboxylic acid. And also you know very well the carboxylic acids. What are they? Oxalic acids, malonic acid, succinic acid, adipic acid, glutaric acid, phthalic acid. Yes, phthalic acid, oxalic acid, malonic acid, succinic acid, adipic acid, glutaric acid and phthalic acid. Oxalic acid, that is, this contains H2C2O4, or we can simply write COOH twice. COOH twice. Whereas malonic acid CH2COOH. Similarly, succinic acid is CH2 twice, then COOH. Like this going on. While come to the phthalic acid, that is, don't read as the phthalic acid, phthalic P silent, phthalic acid, which is a dicarboxylic acids, COOH. This is phthalic acid. Whereas oxalic acid COOH. The main point, you have to find out whether carboxylic acid is a aliphatic or aromatic. Is a aliphatic compounds or aromatic compounds. The first thing is, you have to be note down in the case of the compound after receiving. The first one is that is characteristic features. For example, whether it is a amorphous in nature, or in the form of liquid, or it is, so it may be many things. It may be a liquid or amorphous or in solid condition. Liquid you know very well, whereas amorphous is nothing but fine powder, in the form of fine powder. Solid you know very well, the solid pieces. Understand? Now, all the carboxylic acids are aromatic compounds. What is aromatic compound? The ring compound is said to be aromatic compound. The carbon, hydrogen, long chain compounds are the aliphatic compounds. And also, The next important test is whether carboxylic acids are saturated or unsaturated compounds. So we find out. For aliphatic aromatic also, there is a laboratory test is there. Then only you will find out the compound is aliphatic or aromatic. For example, after you are getting a sample salt, that is organic compound, in a pinch of spatula. You know what is a spatula? Like a metal piece, like a teaspoon, a spatula. So in which you take a small amount of the substance in a spatula while showing in a flame. If it is flames, dense smoky flame, if comes, it is said to be aromatic compound. If it is non-luminous flame, it is said to be aliphatic compounds. So aromatic compounds are to be that when we burn it in a burner, it gives a large dense smoky flame, like burning of tire, full of carbon particles will come out. Is said to be aromatic compound. Whereas in the case of oppositely, in the case of aliphatic compound, there is no such thing will be happening. At the same time, the next test is saturated or unsaturated. Saturated compounds are single bond compounds, whereas unsaturated compounds are double bond compounds. In the case of cinnamic acid, it is a unsaturated one. Cinnamic acid, unsaturated one. Similarly, all the others carboxylic acids are saturated compound, single bond compound. So for these also by means of lab test, by means of adding a bromine water, as well as the second one is by means of potassium permanganate test. By means of these two tests, we can confirm whether the compound is saturated or unsaturated. So most of the carboxylic acids are, just now I pointed out, all are saturated except in the case of cinnamic acid. So while we are adding bromine water, if you are taking the sample in a test tube, then you are adding bromine water. If it is decolorized, that is said to be unsaturated. If it is not decolorized, it is said to be saturated compound. Understand? Now, as you know very well, just now I told you there is no nitrogen in this test. There is no nitrogen in this functional group. For that you have to be checked by means of Leupas test or by means of the other test, nitrogen testing. for which you have to take a pinch of sodium metal, small amount of sodium metal in a fusion tube, very small thin tube is said to be fusion tube. So this is your test tube, whereas I am talking about fusion tube, a small, very thin and lean tube in which you are taking a portion of sodium. The sodium is already dipped in a vessel which contains kerosene. You know very well sodium metals are alkali metals which are highly explosive. So don't play with chemicals in the laboratory. Remember, be careful. So while you are taking a small amount of sodium, by means of a pin you have to take it and remove the complete kerosene and add it in the fusion tube. Then add your compound by means of spatula. First thing is by means of tongs. Tongs will be provided in the laboratory. That should be burned in your lab burner. When you are continuously passing the heat, the sodium starts to melt. You have to heat slowly, just at the tip. Suppose it is a burner, so you have to show this fusion tube, just a tip. And point to be noted that sodium metal should not come out. If it is come out, you throw it and take another fusion tube and take a small amount of, once again, newly sodium metal, burn it and add your compound by means of spatula. Only a small portion is enough, not one spatula. Only a small portion is enough to burn. Here also the sodium metal fusion. Sodium metal fusion. Sodium, this is the sodium and this is your compound. While you are heating, the sodium as well as metal both will fuse. And you have to heat this fusion tube for around up to the bottom will become red hot. During the meanwhile, there will be a mortar and pestle. Okay, by means of mortar and pestle, first of all you have to clean it and add 1 test tube of water. Add 1 test tube of water in it. Then immediately put it this fusion tube in this mortar. What will happen? There will be some reactions, some sounds will come. So remember, if it is your sodium is completely melts, no such vigorous reaction. If it is sodium is not properly burned, if it is put it in the water, that is highly reactive. So be careful while you are putting this in the water. By means of pestle, you have to clean, crush it. Understand? You have to clean, crush it. Yes, along the glass piece to be crushed it and make it a solution by means of filter paper. You will provide filter papers. So make it into double fold and make it into quarter fold by means of funnel. This is your funnel. And take another test tube and filter it. So this is said to be a sodium fusion extract. What is called? Sodium fusion extract. This test is called Lasingen's test. This test is called Lasingen's test. otherwise the other name is called as sodium fusion extract. Sodium fusion extract. So by means of sodium fusion extract, you are having in your test tube. So you divide into 3 parts. First you take the small portion, 1, 2, 3. You have to find out the elements. What are the elements? Halogens, sulfur, and the third one is nitrogen. These 3 things to be find out. Generally, halogens will not provide. Similarly, sulfur will also not given. So only one thing you have to find out, nitrogen. For UG practical classes, not in your syllabus, as well as we are not providing sulfur compounds. So only the compounds which contains a single nitrogen alone we are providing. So you make it into 3 portions. From the sodium fusion extract, take it in a test tube. Add a freshly prepared solution of ferrous sulfate, FeSO4. Ferrous sulfate. Freshly add the substance or make it into solution. And now you burn it in a flame for about 2 to 3 minutes and allow it to cool. Allow it to cool for 5 to 10 minutes. After that, after it becomes cooling, now you add a small amount of dilute sulfuric acid. Dilute sulfuric acid. So it will give very beautiful blue color. Beautiful blue color. Dark blue color. Or sometimes it gives green color also. Okay, blue or green color will get. So that it shows the presence of nitrogen. It shows the presence of nitrogen. One more point you have to remember. If it is not properly blue color, you will get light blue color, but after 10 minutes it will disappear. So that will not contain nitrogen. So if it is not properly you got it, you do it 2 or 3 times. Then when you will get a very good result. Otherwise the total test is wrong. You can't find the exact proper way. You can't confirm it. So that's why you have to do it properly. So if it is blue color, it shows presence of nitrogen. If it is, there is no characteristic change as it is after adding also. Remember this point, because of the adding the sulfuric, already you are having the ferrous sulfate which is a light green color. When you are adding the sulfuric acid, there will be reaction forms, and sometimes it will be a light green color because of the copper sulfate, because of the ferrous sulfate. Sometimes ferrous becomes ferric, Fe3 plus. So you have to take firstly, otherwise the total answer will be go wrongs. So that from this we can come to know. So here the compound I have taken is monocarboxylic acid, that is for example benzoic acid. So which do not contain nitrogen. Now come to that conclusion. What is the report to be right is like that. After performing all the tests, report or result, the given organic compound contains, number 1, whether special element present or absent, special element, nitrogen, halogen and sulfur is absent. Moreover, in the case of similarly, the second is aromatic, third one is saturated compound, and the fourth one is functional group. Okay, for that also you are having one test. Then only we conclude the result. So with that, I will conclude my speech. We will continue this class. Thank you.